This 82-year-old woman gets mistaken for her 60-year-old daughter's sister, but it's not genetics or expensive treatments causing this impossible reversal. You've probably met someone who makes you do a double take. They tell you they're 75, but you swear they look 55. Then there's the opposite. Someone who's only 45, but could easily pass for 65. What's going on here? Here's the thing. Your driver's license tells one story, but your body might be telling a completely different one. Most people think aging is simple math. You're born, years tick by, and boom, you get older. But that's just chronological age, which is basically a calendar keeping score. Your biological age, that's the real game changer. It's how your body actually functions, regardless of what year you were born. Scientists have discovered something pretty wild. Two people born on the exact same day can have bodies that are decades apart in terms of actual function. One 80-year-old might have the heart, skin, and energy levels of someone 20 years younger. Another person at 60 could have organs working like they belong to an 80-year-old. The difference isn't magic, it's measurable. When researchers study biological age, they look at how well your cells repair themselves, how efficiently your organs work, and how quickly your body bounces back from stress. Think of it like two identical cars from 1990. One spent its life in a garage, got regular tune-ups, and used premium fuel. The other sat outside through harsh winters, skipped maintenance, and ran on cheap gas. Same model year, completely different condition. Your body works the same way. Some people are driving around in well-maintained vintage models, while others are struggling with engines that should have been serviced years ago. But here's where it gets interesting, and a little unfair. Aging doesn't hit everyone at the same pace or in the same places. You might have fantastic cardiovascular health, but aging skin. Or maybe your mind is sharp as ever, but your joints are creaking like old floorboards. The early warning signs are sneaky. They don't announce themselves with trumpets and fanfare. Instead, aging starts leaving subtle calling cards. Your skin might lose that bounce-back quality when you pinch it. Climbing stairs becomes slightly more challenging than it used to be. You need a bit more light to read comfortably. These changes happen so gradually that most people don't notice them day to day. It's like watching grass grow invisible in real time, but undeniable when you look at the bigger picture. The fascinating part, scientists now believe that biological aging isn't set in stone. Unlike your chronological age, which marches forward no matter what, your biological age can actually slow down, speed up, or even reverse in some cases. Some 70-year-olds are biologically younger than some 50-year-olds. The question isn't whether you'll age, it's how you'll age. What makes the difference between someone who ages like fine wine versus someone who seems to wither? The answer starts with understanding your biggest enemy in the aging game, and it's probably shining through your window right now. Your skin didn't get the memo about staying young forever, but the sun certainly did. Every single ray of ultraviolet light that hits your face is like a tiny hammer chipping away at your youth. The scary part? You can't see it happening until years later. Here's what's really going on under your skin. UV rays slice through collagen like a hot knife through butter. Collagen is basically your skin's scaffolding, the stuff that keeps everything tight and smooth. When the sun destroys it, your skin starts sagging like a deflated balloon. Well, maybe not that dramatic, but you get the idea. Those brown spots dotting your hands and face, they're not called age spots for nothing. But here's the kicker. They should really be called sunspots because that's exactly what causes them. Your skin tries to protect itself by making more pigment, creating those permanent reminders of every beach vacation you ever took without sunscreen. Scientists have done the math, and it's brutal. Over 80% of visible skin aging comes from sun exposure. That means if you could magically erase sun damage, most people would look decades younger. Makes you wonder why anyone still thinks a tan looks healthy, right? Speaking of tans, let's bust this myth right now. That golden glow everyone chases, it's actually your skin screaming for help. Every shade darker means more cellular damage has occurred. Even if you never burn, even if you think you're being safe by tanning slowly, you're still aging your skin faster than someone who stays in the shade. The weirdest part is how sneaky sun damage can be. You might spend your 20s and 30s thinking you've got great genes because your skin looks perfect. Then boom, your 40s hit and suddenly lines appear seemingly overnight. Those wrinkles were actually brewing under the surface for decades, just waiting to make their grand entrance. But here's where it gets interesting. Dermatologists can spot the difference between someone who used sunscreen religiously and someone who didn't from across the room. The sunscreen users often look like they're from a different generation entirely. We're talking about 60-year-olds who could pass for 45, standing next to their sun-worshipping friends who look every bit of their age, maybe more. Your face isn't the only victim either. Check out people's hands at any gathering. They're like age detectors. Hands get blasted with UV rays every time someone drives or walks outside, and they rarely get the same protection as faces. That thin, veiny, spotted appearance? Pure sun damage in action. Then there's the neck and chest area, what doctors call the décolletage. Women who spent years in low-cut tops often develop a leather-like texture that screams their real age, even when their protected face looks years younger. The sun might be essential for life on Earth, but it's absolutely ruthless when it comes to aging. However, UV damage is just one piece of the puzzle. Your family tree holds some pretty powerful secrets about how you'll age. Your grandmother might blame her gray hair on stress, but the real culprit was probably decided decades before she was even born. Genetics work like a master clock, ticking away inside every cell, setting the pace for when your hair will silver and your skin will start showing its age. Some families hit the genetic lottery. You know the type, entire bloodlines where people look mysteriously young well into their 70s. Then there's the flip side. Families where everyone seems to age faster, developing deep lines and gray streaks before their 40th birthday rolls around. Scientists have discovered that roughly 20 to 30% of how you age comes down to the genetic cards you were dealt. That's significant. But here's the twist. It's not everything. The remaining 70%, that's all about choices, environment, and lifestyle habits we'll dig into later. Well, what exactly are these aging genes doing? They control everything from how quickly your skin produces collagen to when your hair follicles stop making pigment. Some people inherit genes that keep their cellular repair systems running like well-oiled machines for decades longer than average. Then there are the extreme cases that really make geneticists scratch their heads. Rare conditions like progeria cause children to age at lightning speed, developing wrinkles and gray hair before they're 10 years old. On the flip side, scientists have identified families with genetic variations that seem to slow aging dramatically. People who reach 100 with the energy and appearance of someone 20 years younger. But the most fascinating genetic discovery involves something called telomeres. Think of them as protective caps on the ends of your chromosomes, kind of like the plastic tips on shoelaces. Every time your cells divide, these telomeres get a little shorter. When they become too short, cells can't divide properly anymore, and that's when aging really kicks into high gear. Here's where genetics gets interesting. Some people inherit longer telomeres to begin with, while others have genes that help maintain telomere length better over time. These genetic variations can add years to both lifespan and health span. And the weird part is how unpredictably these genes express themselves. You might inherit your father's thick hair genes, but your mother's early wrinkling skin genes. Siblings can age completely differently, even though they share similar DNA, because of how these various genetic factors combine and interact. Let's not forget that genes aren't destiny. They're more like suggestions your body follows unless something else intervenes. A person with good aging genes can still accelerate their biological clock through poor choices, while someone dealt a tougher genetic hand can often slow things down with the right approach. Your DNA essentially sets the baseline speed for your aging process, but environmental factors and daily habits can either slam on the accelerator or pump the brakes. Makes sense, right? Speaking of accelerators, some habits can override even the best genetics and fast-track aging in ways that would shock you. While genetics loads the gun, your daily habits pull the trigger. And some habits, they're firing rounds at your face faster than you can say anti-aging cream. Smoking tops the list as the ultimate age accelerator. Light up regularly, and you're essentially signing up for double the wrinkles by age 50 compared to non-smokers. The chemicals in cigarettes break down collagen and elastin, the very proteins that keep your skin bouncy and smooth. But here's the kicker. Smoking doesn't just attack your face, it reduces blood flow everywhere, starving your cells of oxygen and nutrients. Your skin literally suffocates from the inside out. Then there's alcohol, the sneaky saboteur. A glass of wine here and there won't hurt, but heavy drinking? That's a different story entirely. Alcohol dehydrates your body like crazy, leaving your skin looking parched and saggy. Worse yet, it can cause those tiny red blood vessels in your face to break permanently, giving you that telltale broken capillary look that screams decades of damage. Sleep, or the lack of it, might be the most underestimated age accelerator. People who consistently sleep less than 6 hours nightly don't just look tired. They age faster on a cellular level. During deep sleep, your body repairs damaged cells and produces growth hormone. Skip that nightly restoration session, and your body basically skips maintenance. The result? Puffy eyes, dull skin, and a face that looks like it's been through a blender. But wait, there's more. Sugar isn't just expanding waistlines, it's wrecking faces too. When you eat too much sugar, it triggers a process called glycation. Sounds fancy, but it's basically sugar molecules attaching to your collagen and turning it stiff and brittle. Your once flexible skin support system becomes as rigid as old rubber bands. The sweet stuff you're craving is literally making your skin crack under pressure. Let's not forget chronic dehydration, the silent skin killer. Your body is roughly 60% water, and your skin needs constant hydration to stay plump and elastic. When you're perpetually dehydrated, your skin becomes thin, rough, and loses that youthful bounce. Ever notice how some people's skin looks like crinkled paper? That's often years of not drinking enough water catching up with them. The weird part is how these habits compound. A stressed-out smoker who drinks heavily and sleeps 4 hours a night isn't just aging. They're time-traveling into old age at warp speed. Each bad habit amplifies the others, creating an aging avalanche that's hard to stop once it starts rolling. What makes this particularly brutal is the delayed reaction. These habits don't show their true damage immediately. You might smoke for years before seeing serious wrinkles or drink heavily for decades before noticing broken blood vessels. The damage accumulates quietly, like interest on a loan you forgot you took out. The good news? Your body is surprisingly forgiving when you change course. But first, you need to understand what actually fights back against all this damage, and it might not be what you think. Your muscles are like bodyguards for your youth. They hold everything together, keep you standing tall, and make you look like you've got your act together. Lose them, and suddenly you're shuffling around like you're auditioning for a zombie movie. Here's what most people don't realize. Muscle loss starts way earlier than you think. Around age 30, you begin losing about 3 to 8% of your muscle mass per decade. That might sound small, but it's like compound interest working against you. By 50, many people have lost enough muscle that climbing stairs becomes a workout, and getting up from a low chair requires strategy. But wait, there's more bad news. When muscles weaken, your posture goes south fast. Your shoulders round forward, your back curves, and your head juts out like a turtle. Suddenly, you've got that old person stance that screams your age from across a parking lot. Strong muscles, on the other hand, keep your spine straight and your chest open. Good posture can shave years off how old people think you are. The movement part is where things get interesting. People who stay active don't just maintain their muscle mass, they keep their coordination sharp. Ever notice how some older folks move with confidence while others seem uncertain about every step? That's not just about strength. Regular movement keeps your brain connected to your muscles in ways that sitting on the couch simply can't match. Walking speed is actually a crystal ball for aging. Scientists use it to predict how long someone will live. Seriously, if you can walk faster than 2.5 feet per second, you're in the likely to live longer category. Slow walkers, well, let's just say they're not winning any longevity contests. Fast walkers tend to have better heart health, stronger bones, and sharper minds. Then there's the bones situation. Your skeleton isn't just sitting there doing nothing. It's constantly rebuilding itself. But without regular movement putting stress on your bones, they get lazy. Weight-bearing exercise tells your bones, hey, we need you strong. Sitting around all day tells them, take a permanent vacation. Joint flexibility deserves its own spotlight here. Stiff joints are like rusty door hinges. They make everything harder and more painful. People who keep moving maintain that fluid, easy motion that looks effortless. Those who don't, every movement becomes a production involving groaning sound effects. The really surprising part is how exercise affects your face. Active people have better circulation, which means more oxygen and nutrients reaching their skin. They also tend to have less inflammation throughout their body, and that shows up in clearer, healthier-looking skin. Plus, confident posture and smooth movement create an overall impression of vitality that no anti-aging cream can match. Regular exercise doesn't just slow muscle loss, it can actually reverse it. People in their 70s and 80s have built significant muscle mass through strength training. Their bodies didn't get the memo that they were supposed to be frail. Your muscles and movement patterns are writing checks that your future self will either cash with gratitude or regret. But muscles aren't the only thing telling your age story. Your skin has been keeping a detailed diary of every choice you've made. Your skin tells the story of every year you've lived. It's like a biological diary that records every sunny day without sunscreen, every late night, and every habit you thought nobody would notice. The problem is, everyone can read this diary just by looking at you. Fine lines show up first around your eyes, those crow's feet that appear when you smile or squint. Then deeper wrinkles carve themselves across your forehead and around your mouth. But here's what most people don't realize. These aren't just cosmetic changes. They're actually structural breakdowns happening beneath the surface. Your skin loses about 1% of its collagen every year after age 20. That's the protein that keeps everything tight and bouncy. Without it, gravity wins. Your cheeks start drooping, your jawline gets fuzzy, and your eyelids begin their slow descent southward. Then there's the color story your skin tells. Age spots aren't really about age. They're about sun damage that finally decided to show up to the party decades later. These brown patches cluster on your face, hands, and chest like unwelcome guests who overstayed their welcome. Some people call them wisdom spots, but there's nothing wise about forgetting sunscreen for 30 years. Your hands might betray your real age faster than your face ever will. The skin there gets thin and papery, revealing every vein and tendon underneath. It's like watching your body's roadmap appear in high definition. Plus, hands get more sun exposure than almost anywhere else, yet most people never think to protect them. Well, here's something interesting. Skin texture changes just as much as appearance. That smooth, soft surface you had in your 20s gets replaced by something rougher, drier, and less forgiving. Your pores might look bigger, not because they actually grew, but because the skin around them lost its firmness. The weird part is how uneven everything becomes. Some areas of your skin age faster than others, creating this patchwork effect of different textures and colors. Your neck might look 10 years older than your face, especially if you've been religious about facial moisturizer but ignored everything below your chin. But here's where it gets really fascinating. People who've maintained consistent skincare routines often look dramatically younger than their peers. We're talking about a 10 to 15-year difference sometimes. These aren't people using expensive miracle creams. They're just consistent with basics like cleansing, moisturizing, and sun protection. Your skin also becomes a stress detector as you age. Chronic worry, poor sleep, and life's general chaos show up as dullness, increased wrinkles, and slower healing. It's like your face becomes a mood ring that everyone can see. Makes sense, right? Your skin has been your body's first line of defense against the world for decades. Every environmental assault, every bad habit, every sleepless night gets recorded in its cellular memory. However, your skin is just the most visible sign of what's happening inside your body. The real aging story involves systems you can't see in the mirror, but they're just as important for determining who looks 60 at 80. Your friend seems sharp as ever, cracking jokes and remembering everyone's birthday. Then one day they ask you the same question 3 times in 10 minutes. Or maybe they're fumbling for a word that used to roll off their tongue effortlessly. The brain doesn't announce it's aging with fanfare. It whispers first. Memory lapses aren't the only quiet messenger. Processing speed often slows down before anyone notices. That quick wit might need an extra beat. Simple math takes longer. Following fast conversations becomes harder. But here's what's interesting. Some people maintain razor-sharp thinking well into their 80s, while others struggle in their 60s. Then there's hearing, the stealth aging sign most people ignore until it's obvious. You start asking what more often. Background noise becomes your enemy at restaurants. The TV volume creeps higher week by week. And the weird part is, many people don't realize how much hearing loss ages them socially. They withdraw from conversations, seem less engaged, appear older than they actually are. Vision changes hit differently, but just as surely. Reading glasses become permanent accessories. Night driving gets scary. Colors look less vibrant. Depth perception plays tricks during simple tasks like pouring coffee or walking downstairs. These aren't just inconveniences, they're biological age markers that others notice. Even subconsciously, walking patterns tell their own aging story. Shuffling instead of striding. Shorter steps, less arm swing. Balance becomes shakier, making people more cautious about uneven sidewalks or wet floors. Reaction times slow down too. That split-second response to catch a falling glass or step out of someone's way takes longer. Let's not forget how speech patterns shift with age. Words might come slower, sentences become shorter. Voice quality changes, sometimes getting higher or more nasal. These subtle changes make someone sound older before they look older. But why do some 80-year-olds still think lightning fast while others struggle? Part genetics, sure. But lifestyle choices play a huge role. People who keep learning new skills, stay socially connected, and challenge their brains regularly often maintain sharper cognitive function. Physical exercise pumps blood to the brain, keeping it nourished. Quality sleep allows the brain to clear out daily debris. The senses can be protected too. Avoiding loud music and using ear protection helps preserve hearing longer. Regular eye exams catch problems early. Balance can be improved with specific exercises that challenge stability in safe ways. Well, here's the fascinating part. These invisible signs of aging often matter more than wrinkles when it comes to how old someone seems. A person with clear speech, sharp hearing, and steady movement radiates youthfulness regardless of gray hair or laugh lines. Their brain and senses create an aura of vitality that's impossible to fake. Makes sense, right? You can dye your hair and use anti-wrinkle cream, but you can't fake quick thinking or steady balance. These deeper changes reveal biological age more honestly than any mirror. Speaking of honesty, some remarkable 80-year-olds have cracked the code on maintaining both their minds and bodies. Ever wonder what separates those remarkable 80-year-olds who get mistaken for being decades younger? Well, researchers have been studying these age-defying individuals for years. What they found isn't magic, it's patterns. The first thing that jumps out, these people never stop moving. But here's the twist. They're not all marathon runners or gym fanatics. Sarah, an 82-year-old from Portland, still tends her massive vegetable garden every morning. James, 79, dances salsa twice a week with his wife. Movement looks different for everyone, but it never stops completely. Then there's their relationship with the sun. Makes sense, right? After everything we've learned about UV damage, these youthful seniors treated sun protection like a religion long before it was trendy. They wore hats when hats weren't cool, used sunscreen when their friends called them paranoid. Decades later, their faces tell the story of those smart choices. Their eating habits reveal another fascinating pattern. Most don't follow strict diets or count calories obsessively. Instead, they eat like their great-grandmothers did, whole foods, lots of vegetables, fish instead of processed meat. One 81-year-old woman from Greece credits her olive oil obsession. "I put it on everything," she laughs. "Salads, bread, even my skin sometimes." But here's where it gets really interesting. Their social lives are incredibly rich. These aren't people who retired and disappeared into their recliners. They volunteer, take classes, maintain friendships that span decades. Some even make new friends regularly. Research shows that loneliness ages you faster than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. These folks seem to have figured that out instinctively. The weird part is their attitude towards stress. They don't avoid it completely, that's impossible. Instead, they've developed personal systems for handling life's curveballs. Some meditate, others garden. Many laugh more than average people. One 83-year-old man swears by his daily crossword puzzle ritual. "Keeps my brain from getting rusty," he says. Let's not forget their sleep patterns. While many older adults struggle with sleep, these youthful seniors prioritize it fiercely. They go to bed early, wake up naturally, and most importantly, they actually get quality rest. No phones in the bedroom, consistent schedules, and they treat sleep like the anti-aging medicine it truly is. And the smoking thing? Nearly universal. They either never started or quit decades ago. Same with heavy drinking. Most enjoy an occasional glass of wine or beer, but moderation seems to be their middle name. What's perhaps most surprising is their curiosity levels. These people are still learning new things at 80, taking painting classes, learning languages, mastering technology their grandchildren taught them. Their brains stay active because they refuse to accept mental retirement. The pattern becomes clear when you study enough of these remarkable individuals. Youth isn't about having perfect genes or expensive treatments. It's about consistent choices made over decades that compound into something extraordinary.